Hi, I'm Thomas Flug and you're watching JT Guitar.
Hello and welcome to JT Guitar. Today we're at the Merseyside Guitar Show in Liverpool, which is at the Aintree Racecourse. Now we're at the HeadRush stand with Dan, who's going to tell us in brief a bit about the HeadRush pedalboard.
Hey guys, so yeah, this is the HeadRush pedalboard. It is a multi-effects unit, so you have all your amps, all your effects on board. It's running a quad-core processor, so it's a really powerful computer, and it's got a touchscreen display, which just makes the board so simple and easy to use. I can just quickly add in an amp. So any slot, just tap on it. I'll add in a bit of chorus and a little bit of reverb, a bit of tape echo. And literally, as simple as that, I've got my rig together, ready to go.
And each of the things on the screen, there's another little screen, if you have a look down here, Will, which has the pedal names also on there, or the name of the section, which you can click on and adjust. I think I'm right in saying if I click on the amp, so that turns it on and off.
Yep. And then hold it in. Yeah, if we hold it down, the parameters for that amp now come up on the top switches, and using the expression pedal, I can then tweak everything on that amp without having to use my hands. I can do it all on the floor with my feet.
That is amazingly useful. So I'm going to have a go now and just set up a rig really quickly and we can see how this sounds. Hey, so we're here with Ben of Jodo Guitars. Ben, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
I'll try my best. So by trade I'm a writer, write for film and television, but this is something I've started doing I've always modded guitars, made guitars before, so I just wanted to do my day job, combine it with my passion of guitars really. So each guitar is inspired by either an object, or a theme, or a place, or a person. And that's what I've done. So, start over here.
Go for it.
How long is this going to be?
About 5 minutes.
Oh God! So this was the first one. This is inspired by a vintage bowling pin. So it's got everything to do with bowling on it. It's got the two stripes that you get on top of a bowling pin. It's got a bowling pin detail on the tremolo. Original 60s bowling card comes with it. And all finished in nitro and always relics, just because I like that way. It's got a laser etched scorecard on the back. Because each guitar is basically a rabbit hole.
The attention to detail is amazing. I can tell you're a writer because you've not left anything to the imagination. It's all It's all very clear and it's like a picture.
It's a curse.
And a blessing.
I think so. So yeah, they're all kind of their own thing. They're all one of a kind. I'll never do the same thing again because that's boring.
Which is your favourite?
My favourite at the minute is the Pacificaster on the end.
Do you want to talk through the Pacificaster?
I could do that, yes.
Yeah, cool.
I thought this is epoxy resin on the top. So this was nice just because I'd never done anything like that before really. So I've done a binding around the side. And what's special about this one? So it's basically, so it's Hawaiian fabric on the top, epoxy resin on the top. I've got a good friend who has a laser cutter, so we can make all these little details here on the pickup surrounds and things like that as well. So he's got an amazing machine. He's called Joe for Brighton. And then this was just based on all things to do with the Pacific and surfing really. So, and again, very light, and it's got California pickups in.
It looks great.
Oh, they're very kind. Thank you. Not as heavily relic. And then my other favourite is the Sergeant, which is again, based on something that a retired detective would have been given in the 60s. And I guess what I like about this most is I'm really getting into doing brass work, which is really nice. It's so fun to design, and there's a place up in Scotland that you send it to, and they just kind of cut it out for you and laser etch, and that's been I love doing that. That's been a real pleasure.
What's the story behind this guitar?
The idea was it was a sergeant leaving a precinct in the 50s, and it's like what did the squad get him on his retirement do? So the idea was, well, to get him a jazz master, and so that was it. Really. I imagined this is what they'd give him 50 years ago, and it's been very well played since then. And then it's just throwing in all the noirish details. It's got the same colouring as the Ford Fairlane police cars, the black and white police cars with the little red details on top. So I tried to match that colour, and then it's got, of course, a target to shoot at. It's got the crime scene numbering the way they did on the photographs back in the day, which is good. James Elmore. Elmore did a really good book on crime scene photos, and so basically threw that into there. And even with the, again, it kind of gets so sucked into detail. You know, I kind of found these LAPD mug shots from back in the day as well.
It's really cool.
And every guitar has its own hang tag, which is just because I don't know why. Too much detail.
Well, it's not. It's a nice extra, isn't it? You wouldn't normally get. It's that personal touch. Now, where I'm getting confused, that is a brand new guitar, isn't it?
Yeah, I have the bodies made for me because sometimes I need special configurations, or with the one over there, I'll do the woodwork myself, which is fine. The necks I use all parts because they're the best quality, and I can make necks, but the price goes. But also, people like a Fender or Tele headstock. They get a bit, once you start messing around with the shape, it's a bit, ooh.
Now, for everyone at home, you said you're a writer. Have you written anything that I've heard of or seen?
Yeah, but I'm basically in a writing partnership with my wife. We've been writing for 25 years, so we've done stuff on TV and movies as well.
Any notables that we might recognise?
We had a TV show called Whitechapel we did for years, and we've done Mayday, and we've done films with other people.
And that wasn't enough for you?
Well, it's basically, our job is creating worlds and characters. But now I've got two teenage girls who've grown up a bit. I've got time on my hands, and I've always modded guitars, made a few guitars. So I thought,
It's great. I think they look awesome. I love the fact that you've combined your writing with your other passion, which is guitar, and I think they're awesome. Thanks so much for talking to me. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We're here with Thomas Blug of Blug Guitar. He's a great guitarist, great amp designer, and I'm a really big fan of the product. And I'd just like to give us a brief rundown of what it is you make.
Yeah, I mean, you're interested in the Amp 1, I guess, which is my first amp with Blue Guitar. It's a 100-watt, 4-channel amp that does the job of an old tube amp. I have been designing tube amps in the past with Houston Kettner and some other guys, and I have in my life I have seen many different amplifiers and also many different amplifier technologies, you know, modeling technology, transistor technology, all tube mixtures, and after all the years I found there's nothing wrong about the old tube amps, but they're just so heavy, and I wanted something that is easier to lug around, that suits on my pedalboard but still does the job of the real deal old tube amp. I designed this together with a Russian engineer, and I start from the power amp stage. So the first thing, what is really different is if you play in a band, you feel a tube amp, and anything else is not the real deal. And there are great products out there, but that's my experience. And this was my starting point. Getting the right tones is easier to do. I mean, you know, I have 4 different preamp channels, they can be fine-tuned, and it's like any other amp manufacturer that does tube amps. They have a certain character, and I voice my amp the way I want to hear them. But that's not the thing. The main thing about the Amp 1 is it's a real giggable amp, and it's the real deal. And for me, it's kind of one future in tube amps. Looking at all the stages in a real tube amp, I have analyzed every single stage. And what we've done is not only using a modern technology. No, we have to get 100% what the power amp stage gets, and we have to get what the phase splitter stage gets, and we have to get the input stage right. Otherwise, it's a system that it gets out of balance. If you have like the modeling kind of style, or you do everything in the preamp kind of thing modeled and have a neutral power amp, it doesn't work. Because the interaction between the speaker and the guitar is missing. And to me, that's the secret of the electric guitar.
I've always thought that. It's the power amp. I think a big chunk is the speakers. It's like a third, isn't it? Preamp is a third, power amp is a third, speaker is a third.
Exactly.
And if anything's wrong, it sounds a bit unnatural.
Yeah, and only these 3 elements make the electric guitar sound right.
The whole modeling route's like exploded. There's loads of people doing it. It's very, very complicated. It's amazing how much you can do.
Absolutely.
But what this is basically, it feels and you can use it like a traditional amp, like a traditional valve amp.
Exactly.
And what I like about that is I've got one sound. I like a crunchy, bluesy rock sound, so I don't need 1,000 sounds and all the options under the sun. I just want a great, reliable sound that I can gig with, and it doesn't take up too much room. And that is absolutely what this is.
So I'm also a fan of the analog interface, you know. Me being a guitar player on stage, I don't have the time to fiddle around with some menus, you know, page 2 or whatever. No, every knob here has a function, and you dial in your treble, you dial in your gain and a master volume and your reverb, and it's there.
It sounds, that's the future of amps. Thank you so much.
Hey, big pleasure.
For talking to me. It's really great. Lovely to meet you. We're here with Tim of Frederick Effects, and he's going to talk us through some of his gear and what he does.
Well, I run Frederick Effects, and we got started in about 2011. I build sort of recreations of lots of vintage effects, a few originals. There's about 25 pedals in the range now.
How long have Frederick Effects been going for?
Oh, since 2011.
That's pretty cool.
6 years.
Pretty well.
I was building effects informally just before then, and you know, just building kits and getting started.
Could you talk us through a few of your favourites?
My favourites? Oh, I like the utility percolator, which is an improved harmonic percolator, a germanium fuzz. And the utility percolator has an extra filter in just to take some of the fizziness out of that circuit. I like the super unpleasant companion because I've always loved the super fuzz, and I like the enclosure shape, and the jackdaw. The Cloak Audio Jackdaw, which was more of an experimental kind of offshoot of that.
I love the buffer. Is it focused? Yeah. That's such a good idea.
It's a nice piece of design because the circuit board is barely bigger than what you need for 2 jacks, an input and an output jack. So yeah, that was a good move, I think, doing those.
Well, thanks so much for talking to me. If we can, we'd like to hear a few of them, have a little play, and
yeah, of course.
And yeah, and where can people find out more about you?
Frederick.co.uk, Fredric.
Yeah. Let's have a listen then. So now we're here with Alex from Zander Circuitry, based in Essex, and he's going to talk us through what he does and a few of his favourite effects.
Yeah, we hand make all of our stuff in Essex. Just at the moment, I am still just one man in a room. Started making loads for myself, and then it just kind of snowballed from that into what it is today.
So, could you pick out, say, 2 or 3 of your favourite effects for us?
Yeah. So at the moment, we've currently got some prototypes with us, so I might as well show you these because these are brand new, not fully released yet. So it's kind of the idea of, especially with the Cranium and the American Geek, the idea behind them was to take 2 classic distortion / fuzz pedals that people like, the Rat and Big Muff, and give them all the options of all the different variations and iterations that the companies have released through the years. You can pretty much get all of those sounds in one pedal. These are the 3 modulation pedals that we do, well, modulation and delay pedals that we do currently. So you've got the warbler, the shake and tremble, and the tape deck. The warbler is a dual vibrato that 2 circuits in one pedal that are based around the Magnetone amp, the old Magnetone amp that used to have a vibrato built into the amp. The shake and tremble is tremolo, very similar to the kind of tremolo you find on a black face. It has an active preamp control, so if you're using high output pickups like in the guitar I'm using now, once you start cranking it up, and especially into a lower headroom amp, that's when you'll start to get the kind of cranked kind of tweed sounds that you get. So it's basically meant to give you the sound of like a cranked amp, old Fender amp with the tremolo on.
That's really cool. And tell us a bit about this tape deck.
And the tape deck is a digital delay that is meant to kind of model the old sounds of kind of tape echoes. Kind of that gives you that lo-fi sound. I mean, you can it gets just shy of 3 seconds delay time, but once you start going past sort of a second, that's when the fidelity really starts to kind of crumble apart.
And then finally, this is your prototype, the Echo deck.
So this is an example of some of the custom work that we do. We do quite a lot of custom jobs for guitarists in bands, touring bands that, you know, they want something very specific for their needs. So they've built a couple of these actually, and it's basically meant to be the similar vibe to the old Space Echo units, the Boss Roland Space Echo units from the 70s. So you've got 3 delays in series that you can turn on and off. A simple sort of hall style reverb that just has a mix control, and an active preamp. So you've got an input and output control. So if you crank the input, you can control the overall level with the output, but you can actually drive the input of the delay like you could on some of the old tape units.
So it gets like breakup as well.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
That's really cool. Well, it'd be cool now if we have a little play, and then we'll get close with the pedals and you turning them and let's get some sounds. Let's go for that. it's the end of the day here now at the guitar show, and it was totally worth the journey up. Spoke to some really great exhibitors, loved the HeadRush, loved the Thomas Blug, or the Blug guitar amp, that was awesome. Loved the Zander Circuitry. Met some really cool people, and I'll put links below to all of the exhibitors we interviewed and to their websites. And I'm going to try and get that HeadRush in to do a proper full in-depth review, because I find that really exciting. And the same with the Blug guitar as well. I'd really like to do a proper review of that. But thanks so much for joining me. I've been JT. Take care, and I'll see you next time.